Miss Chambers she was my special education teacher in 8th grade, and my connection with her was that I failed 8th grade, and when I failed 8th grade, Miss Chambers wanted me to get evaluated, but I was denied. And then my second year of 8th grade, she evaluated me, and she said I definitely needed my service for special education, and that's how I know Miss Chambers. Miss Chambers is a really close friend, and I consider her as like a second mom. Her schedules are being rearranged, and she was only having a handful of her students that she had in her 8th grade, and some of those students are crying right now and saying why they don't have her. And Miss Chambers did all her hard work for those kids to go for applications for high schools and getting acceptances, and Miss Chambers has been like a role model to them, and those students don't want to get pulled away from their teacher.
Recently I learned that one of the teachers here at Saucedo, Sarah Chambers, is being punished by her principal for being an outspoken defender of her children. Sarah is a special education teacher, and this week suddenly they changed her work schedule. They took away from her the kids that she had been working with this year, and gave her a much longer list of kids, a list that's impossible for one person to, one teacher to care for and pay attention to. And so I saw on Facebook that her 8th grade students have called for a protest this morning in her defense. They want their teacher back. The group that we represent here are the special education certified assistants. So when this administration attacks a teacher, a beloved special ed teacher like Sarah Chambers, our members are affected too. They're affected because the work is going to be more on their shoulders, but they're also affected too because they care for these kids, and they're going to see these kids, suffer and get less of the attention they need in order to, be successful as students.
So apparently there were some schedule changes that were made during this week. They were done very abruptly, and they affect our students. Our students aren't receiving their minutes. Some of them are losing their teachers that they've worked very close with and developed very good relationships with. For example, Sarah Chambers. So a lot of those students are so close to Sarah, they feel like she's like a mom to them. In addition to just Sarah, there's many other teachers, a lot of my students as well. They're losing their special ed teacher. There's some changes that are being made. And in order for the special ed students to really receive an appropriate education, it's very important that they have consistency. It really affects us in the classroom on a daily basis. I service bilingual students, so I currently have 45% of my students that are special ed. So by doing these cuts, CPS is really hurting the students. They don't realize what they're doing, and it really does affect us in the classroom. It's very important for them to have the consistent support that they always need in order to succeed and make the progress that they need to make.
What's going on with Miss Chambers right now is very unfair for the students of Maria Saucedo. Some of Miss Chambers' students she's not going to have anymore because of these rearrangements. Miss Chambers is a very, very well-known teacher here at Maria Saucedo, so we're here for fighting for her rearrangements and her students.
Woo! Schedule changes got to go.
Hey, hey,
What do we want? When do we want it?
La educación especial con sus estudiantes es súper importante, y separarlos en este momento del año va a ser difícil para los estudiantes más que nada. And we would like Ms. Chambers back into the classroom because I know how crucial it is, the connection and the attachment between the teacher and the student. A healthy relationship cannot be just destroyed just because of lack of staff, because we don't have funds, and we really need to let CPS know that we need money and we need services for our special education students. Thank you.
She's part of the CTU. She's helped throughout the whole school year. I am not a part of special ed, but without being part of special ed, she's helped me throughout the year immensely. She's given me advice from family problems to schoolwork to not being stressed. She's been there for all of us. Most importantly, she's a great advocate for our community, and we do not need to be disturbed in the middle of the school year and Ram Emanuel taking our teachers. It's not only fair for her, but it's unfair for us. We need more teachers like her that actually care and are willing to come in here day in, day out and be dedicated to what they do. Ms. Chambers, we love you and we're standing out here for you. And one thing, Ram Emanuel, cash me outside. How about that?
Krista Rosas. Yeah, my parents do support me coming out here. It's the right thing to do. You have to stand up for what you believe, and if one thing that she's taught us throughout the year is that stand up for what you believe, or else nobody else will.
What do we want? What do we want?
Your banker buddies are not making sacrifices. My students are having to sacrifice their education. 200 million is how much CPS is giving to banks and toxic swaps. 200 million is how much you cut for special education. Ron, you are choosing your banker buddies over my students with disabilities, and my school lost a special education teacher because of these budget cuts. You need to renegotiate these toxic swaps and give to education, give to our students, and not your banker buddies.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Thank you, Ms. Chambers.
And I'm here today to protest that the students are sponsoring in defense of their teacher. Their teacher had her whole entire program changed, and it appears that it's really in reprisal for her activism in defense of special education across the city. So the children spoke out, they organized, and they rallied out here on the steps just to tell their administration and to tell the city that you cannot be basically taking away their opportunities to get a great education. It's a tremendous disruption to kids when their teacher is changed mid-year. It's a disruption. They'll have to learn a new teacher, and it's just going to hurt them.